All right, Eli, good to chat with you again. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure thing, Michael. Good to see you, pal.
Yeah, I had a few shots of Henny with breakfast, so I'm ready. I'm ready for this interview.
Perfect. Everybody's doing it now.
Yeah, right. Nice win for the Giants this weekend, but more importantly, how's your fantasy football team doing?
Fantasy football team is doing pretty good. Kind of got a rough start, got on a win streak. This last week was very rough as I had a lot of my key players are on the Chargers, and so I was out without a. I have Herbert, I have Mike Williams, and Keenan Allen, and I have CD Lamb. So like all my players are out. I was actually using the trade assistant with IBM Watson nonstop, sending out trades, trying to get some fair ones. I was in such a need of a receiver because I also have Michael Thomas. I kind of picked him thinking he would be back by now. He is not. So I was short of, I did not have a receiver. And, Watson was like, do not do this trade. This is not a fair trade for you. I was like, I need a receiver, but actually I had no takers. This in the league I'm in, not many people are willing to do any trades. And so, and I kind of got smoked anyway. So I was going to wait till Monday night to see if it was close. And then I would, either pick someone up or do a last second trade for somebody. And I was getting blown out so bad that I just said, I'm just going to play with no down one receiver. Didn't fill the spot, but I'm still very new to fantasy football. Last year is the very first year I'm played, so I rely heavily on the AI with Watson and IBM for the boom bust for the trade assistant, without that I would have zero chance to win a game for sure.
Yeah, you kind of alluded to my next question. I was going to say, like, you've obviously had so much success on the field, two-time Super Bowl champion and MVP. But what's been that biggest learning curve for you now being off the field and as a fantasy football manager joining, the 40 plus million, including myself who play?
Yeah, I think number one thing is don't pick friends. That's you shouldn't align your team and your lineup based on pals and teammates and guys you played with. That didn't work for me last year. So this year I kind of went total opposite and said I'm not drafting any Giants players. It got me too riled up. I just want to kind of root for the team, not rooting for players, and didn't want to get into that. So that has worked a little bit better and made it a little bit more relaxed for me to watch the games. Actually, it got interesting this past weekend because Justin Herbert was out. My backup was Sam Darnold. He was playing against the Giants. So it was the only time where I was actually rooting for my fantasy football player to do horrible. Which nothing against Sam. He didn't play his best, or actually the Giants defense played so well that my fantasy quarterback did not get me many points, and I was actually happy about it and excited about it. So it was I did not, it's hard to plan all those things out. I'm not looking to see like which team my backup quarterback will be playing when my starter is out, and it happened to be the Giants. But so it's been definitely learned a lot. I think that's a great thing about IBM and using Watson and the ESPN Fantasy app is that you have some AI, you have some guidance. Especially for like the people like myself that are just getting into fantasy. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to read every book and dive deep into it to field a team to win some matchups and make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, I'm slightly embarrassed to admit this, but I've been in a league with my family since 2003 and I've never won. So, and they're like, you're a sports journalist, like you should have the inside scoop or something like that. And again, it's like, I don't know on the matchups and who's available, that kind of thing. So, what kind of tips, can I have here to maybe help end my drought?
I think obviously, using Watson, whether it's the boom bust to set your lineup weekly, just to give you an idea, who should do well, who's not going to do well, or has a chance not to do well. I think using the trade packages with the trade assistant, players to watch, players, hey, do not trade this guy. Hey, this guy you might want to trade, or just kind of what positions, should be looking at to maybe acquire or to help your team. So I'm a big fan of the AI and using Watson. It is much smarter and more knowledgeable than me on, and doesn't just kind of take in like, oh, I really like this guy, or this guy looks like a good person. I know him. I've seen him off the field. Like, I'm going to pick him. Like, that doesn't help you in fantasy football. So, that's why I just, use all the features, that Watson has, and in the ESPN Fantasy Football app, and just that'll get you on a good start. And then sometimes, hey, you do have to go with the gut, and sometimes it works out. Most of the time, it doesn't.
I was worried you're going to tell me to stop playing fantasy football and maybe try fantasy
Never.
baseball or like a different sport or something. So,
Never. It's a great thing about fantasy football. I've actually enjoyed it. Just, it does keep you involved in the game, and hey, to know players, to watch like all of football, watch all the games, to keep up with what's going on. So, it's interesting, and I think it's great for like young kids to play it, because it gets them not just rooting for like one team, maybe based off where they live, but just watching all of football, is knowing a ton of different players. You're not only watching your team, you're kind of watching the players that you're playing against and seeing how they do. So I think it's great for football, and just learning more and getting more people to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a great thing for that league awareness. And like you said, if I'm a New York Giants fan, which I am, by the way, and I have, Joe Burrow on my team as my quarterback, I'm obviously going to pay attention to the Bengals. So that definitely makes a lot of sense. When you aren't scouring the waiver wire, trying to make some trades here in your fantasy league, you're keeping busy with, the Eli Manning show, Eli's Places, ManningCast with Peyton, and just everything else on your plate. So did you imagine you'd be doing this much hosting and TV work in your post-playing career? And how's that transition been?
Yeah, no, I did not. I did not imagine that at all. That was not the game plan, and it just all kind of started, started slowly, and really kind of during the pandemic. Not much was going on. That's where I started. Eli's Places was first, and say, oh, that'll be fun. Like doing college football. I love college football. Getting to travel around a little bit, talk to coaches, and kind of do it on my own schedule when I could be places, or if I happened to be down at an Ole Miss game, I could film. If I was, near there, hey, I could maybe pop to Tuscaloosa and film with Saban. So you could kind of pick your schedule. So that was good. And then all of a sudden, kind of the kind of with ESPN2 and doing Monday Night Football with Peyton came up as an option. And again, just 10 games, but get to do it with my brother. It keeps me, also another thing that keeps me involved in the game of football, studying film, watching offense and defenses, watching players and coaches. So it's been a lot of fun, and then just kind of teaming up with the Giants a little bit, just doing the Eli Manning show. Talking to Giants, fans basically that are well known, and so Tracy Morgan and Chaz Palminteri, and I'm co-hosting it with one of my best friends, Sean O'Hara. So all of them are a lot of fun, all of them completely different. But that was not kind of the game plan to get into the TV world. It just they all just came up, and have been a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot along the way.
Any aspirations to kind of be in the studio full time or booth or anything like that? Like I know Drew Brees was a guest on the ManningCast, so that's something obviously he's done since he retired. Any aspirations there?
No, I like this style, and the fact that you kind of get to pick your own schedule. It's not something you're doing every single day. Obviously, with the Monday Night Football, there are 10 games that we're doing across the season, and you do have a little flexibility on kind of picking those games. And so, and all the other things, there's a little bit, you get to choose, who you want to invite. You get to choose, which places and which stories you want to do. And so I kind of like having that flexibility, and can kind of, base it around my schedule a little bit. So, I think in all of them, it's a little bit more relaxed atmosphere. It's not such a strict, like tight schedule, or you have to, stick to an exact formula for how it has to be done. All of them are a little bit kind of, hey, this is off the cusp, and we're trying to change things up and do things a little bit differently.
Yeah, and speaking specifically on that with the ManningCast, this past Mondays with Marshawn Lynch and Tom Brady, Sue Bird, Drew Brees, just like the elite of the elite, just How much fun is that, doing that with Peyton? And, I'm going to have to put you on the spot. Who's been your favorite guest so far that you guys have had?
Oh, it's tough. It is a lot of fun. Obviously, when you have those guests come on, it's good. Kind of every quarter, you have a different guest. You get to bring up funny stories. Get them. We kind of Peyton and I are making fun of each other. We're making fun of ourselves. We get to, bringing. It always works a little bit better when you bring in guys or girls that you have kind of a relationship with. You know them off the field, so you can bring up some stories, and you're not going to feel guilty, or you're not going to insult anybody, or they're going to get sensitive about things. So it's been fun. It's hard to say who the best guest. I thought the one with I thought Brady was awesome the other day. Gronk was a lot of entertaining. Every week people keep asking when Pat McAfee is coming back on the show, so he was obviously very popular. But Sue Bird was awesome, and so there's all these people I have such great respect for, and whatever field they're in. So it's been a lot of fun getting to chat with them and get some laughs.
So you won't say who your favorite guest has been, but who's maybe a guest or two that you're like, we have to get this person on the show.
Who, there's so many. Larry Fitzgerald's one. He's one of my great friends. So I know we'll get him down the road. That's good. I can't give you all my inside scoop on who are some people that are coming on in the future that have said yes, just kind of waiting for the right timing, or waiting for some of their favorite teams. A lot of them want to come on when their favorite team is playing on Monday Night Football. So we're waiting for that.
Of course. Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot with a lot of these questions this morning, so sorry about that.
All good.
And I know our time is coming short here, so let me ask you. Going back on the field, looking at the Giants, big win for them over Carolina this past weekend. How do they keep that momentum going, knowing it's a tough schedule, here on out?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just kind of taking it one game at a time and finding what works. And obviously, the defense played outstanding this week. Offensively, we're solid, made plays when they need to, didn't make the mistakes. So each week's gonna be a little different, and they just got to find their identity a little bit on both sides of the ball. So hopefully they can build off this. Have a tough task, going against Kansas City this week on Monday Night Football. And so, but all of a sudden Kansas City did not play well last week, so they're going to be fired up, and they're trying to figure out their identity as well. So hopefully the Giants can keep it going. I know they're working really hard. The team is committed, and so just hoping they can get on a hot streak right now.
Of course. And before I let you go, who had the better one-handed catch, Odell Beckham Jr. or Daniel Jones?
Odell's was a touchdown. Daniel's was a 12-yard completion. So I think you always put it in context a little bit, but it was an impressive catch for a quarterback, which doesn't happen all that often. So it was a great play to watch. I was fired up for him.
And of course, you were on the other end of Odell, so of course a little bias there, right? So
maybe a little biased, yeah.
Yeah.
So